welcome back
Welcome back.
to another fun-filled episode of POV with Hailey and Brie.
POV.
Hailey, we got a fun episode planned today.
Okay.
It's all gonna be about Gen Z, because you know what, Hailey?
What?
We're both Gen Z.
Are we?
Yeah.
That's
Gen Z is officially 1997 to, I actually don't know the end date, so we probably should figure that out, but whatever. But I'm 1998, so I am officially Gen Z.
darn.
It would just like that.
You barely made the
I
cutoff.
barely made the cutoff.
That's tough.
Yeah. So it sucks to not be wanted sometimes, but you gotta deal.
Yeah, you gotta be chopped liver at some point.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it. Anyways,
Yeah,
we're gonna get into all of that.
we are.
First, let's check in. Hailey Bailey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Energy level, quite low.
Okay.
But I think it's just because
It's the end of the year.
It's the end of the year. It's the end of the day. You know, it's a Tuesday. So Tuesdays are just Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, it's not even a Wednesday yet.
It's not a Wednesday, but it's good because the podcast comes out.
Yeah, we hope that this podcast energizes Hailey, and it's going to
probably
energize
will.
you.
It probably, I'll feel passionate.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Did you say a number?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
So-
I'd say like a 6.5.
6.5.
It's not because it's solely just because of energy level. It's not
That's
because
fair.
anything happened.
Nothing's wrong. Understood.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What about you, Breezer?
I would say, honestly, like right now, I'm probably at an 8. Work's been really rough.
Yeah.
But trying to not let that affect my mood, even though it does at work.
It's hard.
So I'm working on it. I'm trying not to let it affect me too much. But, you know, we're here. We're recording on the podcast.
We are?
Somebody said they didn't want to be on the podcast because of pink couches, and I just think that is such a loss.
Extremely foul, rude.
We love this person. But, yeah.
Who is
I can't tell you. It's a secret. But the guys, let me tell you, you want to sit on these pink couches. They are extremely
They're quite
comfortable.
comfy. And
Hailey's
the pink.
wearing almost a matching. We just got so much pink. I didn't get the pink memo, so thank you.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. Question of the week, Hailey.
Question of the week.
You're going to answer for me. I'm going to answer for you.
Concerned.
If I was a dog,
Mm-hmm.
if you were a dog,
Mm-hmm.
what dog breed would I be?
You give me Cocker Spaniel vibes.
Cocker Spaniel.
Like the cute Cocker Spaniel, like Lady and the Tramp Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah. I love that.
You give me Cocker Spaniel vibes.
Cocker Spaniel. I love that. You give me poodle vibes. And that's a compliment, because poodles are extremely gorgeous. Their hair.
I have never seen a good-looking poodle.
Are you kidding me?
I've seen annoying-looking poodles.
I mean like a golden doodle. Like a poodle mix.
Oh, okay. That's very different than...
It's the same thing.
No, because when you say a poodle, that's like...
The best part of the golden doodle is the poodle.
But you said I was a poodle.
You're definitely a golden doodle, because you're not full poodle.
Why did you change your response up after you saw my reaction, though?
It wasn't about the reaction. It wasn't about the reaction. I'm being called out, but I promise it wasn't about the reaction. It was not.
That's okay. Well, I appreciate your opinion.
I appreciate your opinion.
What about me gives poodle vibes? Because when I think of a poodle, I think of like high maintenance, pretentious, like...
Pretentious? No. Maybe the high maintenance part. I'm just kidding. No, but the reason I said golden doodle.
Just on Cafe Rio Tuesdays. That's the only high maintenance.
Yeah. Golden doodle energy. Because the golden doodle loves people and just wants to be around people all the time. Like, can't handle being alone all day.
Interesting.
And
That's almost like have you heard of the, what's it called? It's this saying that's like, in like a 2-person friendship, there's always a black cat and a golden retriever.
Who's the black cat?
I don't know.
Who's the golden retriever?
It might not apply to us, but I'm just saying that, like, I've heard that before.
I think you're saying it applies, but I don't know what.
No, I'm not saying that it applies to us. I'm just saying, and like, for example, in you and Sarah's friendship.
Oh, she's the cat.
I think Sarah's a black cat, where she's more like keeps to herself.
That's true.
Does her own thing.
I guess
and then you give more golden retriever vibes of like.
Yeah.
But I could also see it flip flop.
Really? I'd say in our friendship, I might be the black cat because I feel like you definitely like to be around people. We both like to be around people, but you like it a lot more than I do.
I would only say I would be the golden retriever because I feel like you like to take your own time to recharge.
True.
Whereas when I need to recharge, I need to be hanging out with people. That's how I fill my social battery up.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
does that mean I'm technically an introvert?
I think you're both.
I'm an ambivert.
I think you're an ambivert.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Anyways. Well.
What a great question.
That was the question of the week at the office. So I thought I'd bring it in. Okay, guys. We have some things that we're going to be talking about. So if you're watching, if you're listening, shout out to Kevin Hart. We are going to be on our phones, so Kevin, you're not going to notice, but we are going to be,
Kevin will give you the play-by-plays.
We will. Right now, we're both looking at our phones. No, but I think we've done some research. The train, that was a loud one.
That was
excessive. The train applauds our research. You guys are going to be so impressed with this research. We thought, 2023 is coming to an end. Another year. The oldest Gen Z turned 26 this year, so they left their parents' insurance. So R.I.P. to the insurance peoples. So we thought it'd be cool to kind of recap. Okay, what is Gen Z spending their money on, and compared to other generations, especially with the inflation going on and people's financial goals changing.
That is
so
true.
We're kind of going to talk about, what Gen Z is spending their money on. Since we're Gen Z, we'll talk about what we're spending our money on.
Because we all know you want to know what we spend our money on.
And we also want to know what you're spending your money on, so y'all should comment.
Yeah, maybe this will...
spark conversation?
Yeah, spark conversation, spark just like, I don't know, something in you to just take a step back and look at your finances, especially with the stats that we got. So
buckle in.
Buckle up.
Okay. This is what we want to talk about first. We want to talk to you about what Gen Z is spending their money most on. Okay. Also, who decided, this is just a sad name for a generation, the silent generation?
I've never heard of that.
That is 1945 or earlier. Is there anyone alive? What's the oldest person right now? If someone was born in 1945, they are 85 right now, around there? Did I get that right? 19.
Sorry.
No, 1945.
What's the calculator? 1945?
Well, to 20. Wait.
23 minus 1945, you're saying?
Yeah.
That means that they'd be 78. So, yeah, they're alive right now.
Well, yes, but, what's the oldest person? When would they be born? Say, the oldest person's 110. Because there's got to be someone who's 110 out there. 110 years ago was 1915? 1913?
Yeah.
So, dang. Okay, wow. So, they're all just roped into one generation. That's interesting. Anyways, the different spending habits across the, 5 generations. So, it goes silent generation, boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. Also, tell me why we just didn't go by alphabet, since some of these people have different names. So some of the things, I'll put this chart up so that y'all can look at it. But one of the things that's interesting is Gen Z spends the least or in the same category on food as the silent generation, which is very interesting. And they're not, I had made the assumption that Gen Z would be spending the most on entertainment, the most on social events.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's the millennials and Gen X that are spending the most.
That's very interesting.
With Gen Z actually spending the least on entertainment. But I guess when you think about it, it makes a little more sense because millennials and Gen X probably are making more money, so they have more money to spend versus like Gen Z's just coming out of college now, or like
that's true,
barely out or barely in the workforce. So I guess when you think about it, it makes sense. But I think with the like image that Gen Z gives off, or like maybe not that they give off, but that the media portrays of Gen Z is like they're not like financially responsible, so they're blowing all their money on like inflation or on entertainment and stuff. But okay, let's look at just Gen Z. So something across the board for all generations is the most spent category is housing, which 53% of people's income is going to housing, which that makes me cry. That is very depressing. I don't know.
It's wild.
I cannot. I literally cannot. Okay, then for Gen Z, this is the list of it goes in. So household bills and expenses, clothing and accessories, travel, entertainment, food, eating out, personal care, online services, toys and games. Last on the list is paying off debt and student loans, which I guess makes sense because they're just getting out of that.
Yeah, I think it's also just not a top priority for most.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like a lot of people are just like, they don't want to put their lives on hold. Like, I feel like they want to, it's almost like they want their cake and they want to eat it too.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, obviously, like, I have to work because you just spent money to get this degree, so you have to go to work so that you can get money in order to, like, live your life, but also to, like, pay it off. But they still want to be like, well, I still want to have fun. So I think that just goes to, like, bottom of the barrel, like, when it comes to budgeting and, like, planning out your finances for the month. Or like bi-weekly or like however you do it. Yeah. So that is very interesting though. I'm surprised but not surprised. It would be very interesting to like see like in another episode, like statistically, like how much on average people put away towards.
Oh yeah.
That would be a good one.
Like how much? I think one of the first episodes we did, I think we found that like millennials were paying the most in like student debt. Which I guess makes sense because they're past the like young age. They're finally making enough where they can make big dents in the debt.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is depressing when you're like paying off all this debt, but it doesn't feel like it's making a dent because it's like such little amounts. I guess could make sense.
Yeah, because it takes people years and years to pay off their student debt, majority of the time.
Yeah. Although Dave Ramsey does say give you a fast track to paying that off, but again, like there's sacrifices that have to be made.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Okay, Hailey, stacking yourself up to that comparison, where do you think you line up in like let's look at 2023.
2023.
What do you think Hailey had like? What have been the top like let's say top 5 biggest expenses?
My top 5 biggest expenses. I think you sent me the picture for me to look at for reference. Hold on 1 second. I'd say bills would probably be one of the first ones.
Yeah.
And then I would say probably food. Food gets me. Food gets me bad. Yeah. And then I would say like going out, entertainment probably would be
Disneyland
my second.
Counts in there?
That counts as entertainment, yeah. I'd probably say after that, oh man, probably shopping's probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's 4.
That's 4.
And then we'll just put, I don't know, travel.
Travel?
We'll say.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any student loans or debt right now.
Amen. Good job, Hailey.
So that's probably what I would put. What about you?
So household bills, I feel like that's obviously going to be
obviously going to be
although,
a first.
I was trying to think. I don't think I spend 53% of my income. It's like barely lower than that. So like that's for sure a blessing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because some people aren't able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a luck thing. That I'd probably say I think either food or like entertainment, those are probably pretty close.
Yeah.
And then I will say that I don't know what my number 4 is yet, but shopping probably number 5. But I'll say like last year it was probably my number 2 or 3 because I just shopped a lot. Yeah, and then this year I was like, ooh, gotta trim that back. So pat myself on the back for not spending as much on clothing and shopping on myself. Did it
other people is hard.
You can't budget
because
for
like
that.
throughout the year you've got birthdays, holidays,
Christmas,
grad parties,
weddings,
anniversaries, like there's just
weddings
so much.
Require so many gifts, and I love it when people get married. But what if you can't budget? How do you budget for a wedding that comes up all of a sudden? I don't. You can't.
You don't.
Wild. I guess my 4th one would be like personal care. Yeah. Yeah. Probably like that. So yeah, we're in the range.
We're in there.
So
we're in there.
Let's say this accurate. I will also put all these links that we are referencing in the descriptions.
Yeah.
So y'all can look that up. Hailey.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Okay.
About the change in how Gen Z has been spending their money compared to previous habits or previous generations.
I will.
Yeah, please.
So Brie and I found this article.
Okay.
And it is basically a study done by Bank of America.
Oh.
So
Bank of America.
They can't be wrong because they have all of our financial information, or majority of it. So Bank of America says that over the past year, nearly 3 out of 4 Gen Zers say that they've changed their spending habits due to increased prices or inflation.
Wow.
It says their lifestyle changes have included more like cutting back on like going out and eating more at home. Yeah. It also has cut back their spending habits on like clothes and limiting grocery purchases. And then says that 79% of Gen Zers have said that they are going to be adopting these new spending habits and maintaining them over the next few years.
Wow.
Because of inflation.
Do you think have you noticed inflation yourself? Like, do you think you've changed habits at all?
I think I've noticed it. Yeah, I'd say so. I think like I've noticed it more, obviously, like where a lot of people, other people have noticed, like grocery stores, gas, like stuff like that. Like, and then just little things. Like I feel like I'm like, oh, that seems like way more expensive than what I remember paying for it last time. So
Disneyland, I think we talked about this.
Oh yeah,
we went to Disneyland together in September, and we went to San Francisco with the bread bowls. They were the same price, I will say. They were the same price as when I went a year earlier, but they were half the size. They used to be like, sorry to all the listeners, but they used to be like this big. Now they're like
a
like
a volleyball.
Yeah, they used to be like a volleyball. Now they're like a softball.
2 softballs.
2 baseballs.
2 baseballs.
2 baseballs, maybe a softball plus a baseball. To get exact.
Yeah, smaller than a volleyball, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been a very interesting. Yeah. But even with like Disneyland, like their prices definitely have gone up a lot. And then even their passes have gone up a lot too.
What sucks is like, so usually companies will give you like a cost of living increase every year, and it's usually between like, I think 2 to like 4%, but average is around like 3%. inflation for 2023 was 3.7%. So if you got a 3% raise,
It
your
didn't
salary
even-
decreased by 0.7%.
That's wild.
Isn't that like sad?
That's insane.
Do you have a table? Did you find anything that said like how much inflation has like 2020 to 2023?
Yes, I did.
Because that would
Thank
be
you
very
for reminding me.
interesting. How much it's increased since like what, like 2020 or something?
Yeah, so I found a chart that basically like documented all of the inflation from April of 2020 to 2023. So the biggest spike I can see was, so in February of 21, inflation was 1.7. And then in April 21, it jumped to 2.6. And then by June of 21, it jumped to 4.2.
Wild.
And then we'll go a little bit further. October 21, it jumped to 5.4. And then in December of 21, it jumped to 6.8. And then February of 22, it jumped to 7.5. The highest it ever was in June of 22 at 9.1.
So does it show you the like total spike from like April 2020 to like now?
Yeah.
Like what's the total increase?
So this is from April 2020 to 2023.
Okay.
So, but it said starting out in April of 2020, it was 0.3%.
Okay.
And then as of April of 23, it said it was 6%.
That's crazy. That is sad.
Isn't that
And scary.
wild?
6%. Also, can we talk about, this is kind of off topic, but California taxes. Like if you look at the receipt,
They're
I think it
taking
said,
all of
I
our
don't
money.
remember what the
They're taking
exact
all of
amount
our money.
was, but it was like over 10%
All of our money, they're trying
the
to
cost.
jack it.
I was like, are you joking with me?
They're not joking with you.
They've got to be joking with me.
They want to take all your money.
Freaking Newsom, man. Can I say that on here? Am I allowed to get political?
Sure.
What a wild dude. That's all I'm gonna say. What a wild dude.
I hope his wineries are treating him right.
His wineries.
Yeah.
He has wineries in
Mhm.
California.
Yeah.
Good for him. Honestly, he should retire there before he runs.
He
for
should
president.
retire there.
Apparently, he's not going to run for 2024.
Aw, darn.
Sad.
That's just
Anyways,
so sad.
yeah. Okay. Some also things that are interesting is while inflation has increased, price of living has increased, and price of living has increased 53%. Okay, but college graduates compared to our parents, so I think our parents' generation would be what generation? Or sorry, the millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Is that our parents?
No.
No, Generation X is our parents, I think, because they're born in the 70s.
What's the cutoff of?
80?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our parents, Gen X, college graduates earn 10% less than Generation X college graduates, but everything's going up. So it's very interesting.
So it's not good.
Also,
If
hopefully
the math
this
ain't
isn't
mathin'.
the math ain't mathin'. Hopefully this isn't a depressing episode, but an eye-opening episode of like
What's going on
what's
in the world?
going on.
What you have to look forward to for
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Congratulations.
All right, Hailey.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what people our age. So let's say our age is ages like 20 to like 29-ish.
Yeah.
In that range. Do we have some things that these people in these age ranges should be doing? I've looked some up too.
This is fantastic.
Okay. Some of these are going to be very obvious, but I think it's worth talking about. Making a saving habit. Very important.
Yes. Saving. Yeah.
You said your POV, or maybe not your POV, but something you said a few episodes, or maybe last season,
Yeah.
was that you think between the ages like 18 to 22, you should have like $10,000 saved.
Yeah.
Smart. I think that's one of the smartest ideas ever, because you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, and I know it's hard because like at that like and that significant like area or life in your time is when you're like going to school, or you're like going straight into the workforce and like, you know, like have a full-time job or a part-time job or whatever. But I honestly think that from what I've heard, depending on what's going on in your life at that time,
Sure.
but like life gets ahead of you really fast, and so at that point, obviously, like you're probably not going to be buying a house.
True.
You probably might not have any kids. You probably might not be married. So
Sure.
it's like
It's a good time
at
to save.
that point, it's like probably the easiest time for you to save,
Sure.
because you don't have like, oh, like you don't have a child, you don't have a wife or a husband, like you don't have like a house payment, like you don't have all these things that can add up really
Sure.
fast in order to really just cut your like your monthly income
Yeah.
into shreds.
Yeah. And this suggestion says like, or it actually says that 56% of Gen Z doesn't have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months worth of expenses. So Dave Ramsey method, one of the first baby steps is to get 3 months of savings in your bank account. So like at the least, that would be a good starting point.
Yeah.
Saving 3 months of money. Second idea to be financially secure, start investing for retirement now.
Yeah.
Because the earlier you invest, I forget what it's called, what's the word?
Oh, darn it.
What's it called?
401k?
No, but when something like doubles in price.
Invest.
Not in foods, but like when you're investing and it's like tripling in price. I don't know what the word is. My brain is too tired.
Tripling in price.
It's like accumulating.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that the word?
Probably.
Just invest, okay? That's what
Just
you want to do.
invest.
Put money into your 401k, even if it's like $20 a month, because you're getting stuff. This is rude. I don't like this stat. It says resist the urge to give into FOMO. It says Gen Z women, which rude. Why are they singling women out? Are more apt to feel pressured to spend to keep up with their social circles. And that's another Bank of America stat. I don't know why they're hating on the women.
Bank of America.
But apparently women struggle from FOMO. Don't give in to FOMO, okay? I give in to FOMO all the time.
Me as well.
However, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I say, well, we gotta save.
Well, shoot, no.
And sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it sucks. But it's worth the financial stability.
It's worth
sometimes.
it in the end.
Well, only our older selves can tell us. We'll come back to that. What's wild is, I think, sometimes Gen Z is just so distraught from finances and all that they've kind of given up. And, like, one of the things that I think is so funny is the girl math, boy math thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what is boy math? But also, girl math is such a thing. Like, yeah, if I'm going to buy a sweater that's $40, it's going to be good quality. I'm going to get so many uses out of it. It's basically like $2 because I'm going to wear it so many times.
Basically, yeah.
$2 a wear.
Yeah.
Or like, not even, like 50 cents a wear.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest girl math thing that, like, I adhere to is if I'm spending money out of my Venmo, I'm literally not spending money.
That or cash.
Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not money. It's
No.
not coming out of my bank account
No,
savings.
if you can't see it leave, then it doesn't exist. It's free money.
It's free money.
I agree.
It's literally the
I
most
also stand by that.
foolproof statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm paying you via Venmo, I'm not really losing money. In my head.
It's making sense.
Also, if I deposit my Venmo savings into my bank account, I made money.
Yeah, you made money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in my bank account before.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Girl math makes sense.
It does. It does. It makes sense to me, and I think it makes sense to a majority of our followers.
Yeah. So you're welcome.
So that's what we're going to go with.
That's what we're going to go with. Hailey, any final thoughts on Gen Z finances?
Bro.
Girl math, boy math.
Girl math, boy math. I think it's just super, like, I agree, like, FOMO is hard.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I love to have a
rough.
good time. But I do think if you can find a way to somehow, like, balance, like, I don't know. I feel like in our generation and some things that, like, me and I think both of us have had to, like, adapt to, is in our minds we think, like, oh, if we can't go out with friends and do these things, then we're going to lose friendships. So we have to go do these things. But at the same time, it's like you can save money and, like, be like, oh, like, I, you know, have to cut my expenses for, like, going out or like eating in like in half this month or whatever. But I think in our mind we're like, oh, like, we can't do anything. But it's like, you technically, like, instead of going out, maybe you could invite your friend over for a movie.
Yeah.
Or, like, make, I don't know, like, have top ramen together for dinner.
Love
or, like, I feel like there's a lot of low budget things you can do with your friends.
Yeah.
But I feel like it takes not a lot of thinking, but
Takes effort.
takes effort, and I feel like a lot of Americans nowadays are very much just like, whatever is the most convenient, I'll do.
Yeah. Which is yeah, I think that's something that I've struggled with, is just like, oh, like, all my friends are going out, like, I want to pour into those relationships.
Yeah, so I gotta
like,
go.
I'm gonna go out. But I think, you know, also, I feel like a lot of people are often in the same situation. Like, I feel like both of us are always trying to save money. Even with Sarah and with Hannah too. Like,
Yeah.
like, we went to Cafe Rio. I think we spent the most someone spent was like $10 because, like, those tacos are so cheap.
So good. Yeah, but it's also like, I think we also need to normalize, like, going out. And, like, say if we were going to go out together and you're like, hey, let's go out to, I don't know, to dinner, or, like, let's go to this place. And I just solely was like, I'm just going to go out. I'm not going to spend anything, but I'm just going to go out, like, for community, for friendship.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be normalized.
Should.
Because I feel like a lot of people fall into this, like, being like, oh, I feel like there's two ways it could go about. Either that happens and somebody's like, why would you go out when you don't have any money? Like, that's stupid. That's one response you get. And then the other one you get is, oh, well, now I feel bad for this person because I'm having all this fun and they're not. So I feel like I have to pay for them. So I feel like we need to normalize. Well, there's nothing wrong with doing that either.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like we need
Normalize
to
it being
normalize. I don't know. It's so interesting.
I think that's, like, amen to that, because sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to spend any money, but I don't want people to feel bad for me. And, like, because that's not the point. Like, I don't want, you know.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But it's hard.
Absolutely. It is hard.
Because I get it, because I'm very much like if somebody was like, oh, you know, like, I just don't have the money for it, I'd be like, oh, cool, that's fine. Order whatever you want.
Yeah.
Totally. Do it.
And I
whatever.
love doing that for people. So I think that is totally okay. But it's also okay to just go for the community. You know?
That's true.
But
wow.
Good points.
Look at us.
Good points.
Look at us.
Is it POV time?
I think it is POV time.
POV. All right, guys.
You have yours locked and loaded.
A locked and loaded POV. With the energy level of this podcast episode, I'm going to bring it down. Not the energy. Just maybe the emotion I'm going to bring up. I don't really know what I'm saying. Okay. I watched a movie over Thanksgiving break. I think I cried 24/7 during the movie, and then I cried after I was thinking about the movie. I cried so much that I am deeming this movie the saddest movie literally ever. It's called A Man Named Otto. It's with Tom Hanks. I'm going to give you the little plot. It's about this old man whose wife died. Okay? So he's trying to kill himself because he doesn't want to live without his wife. But every time he tries to kill himself, his neighbor like interrupts him, and he gets mad at his neighbor because he's like, I'm trying. He doesn't tell her this, obviously, but he's like, I'm trying to kill myself. Like, I don't need this. But then he's such a kind person that he ends up helping this person, and then he ends up helping all these people, and then he like touches the lives of all these people. It's so sad. It's literally so sad. And at the end, can I spoil it?
Sure.
Actually, I'm not going to spoil it because there might be people. But when I tell you, I've never cried harder in a movie.
It's your podcast. You can spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it.
It's your podcast.
He dies.
From natural causes?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because you know what the condition is?
Depression.
He had too big of a heart, and his heart pattern was irregular. So because his heart was too big, he died in his sleep. Because his heart was too big.
She's literally about to cry right now. This is just
It was so sad. It was so sad. That's my POV though. That Amanda.
I can't believe you're literally crying right now.
I'm not crying. I'm just
teary-eyed.
Emotional. I'm a little teary-eyed because
I'm
telling
sorry.
you, it's the
And
saddest movie
you said
ever.
you're gonna bring the mood up, and that was the exact opposite of what happened.
I meant down. Emotion up.
All right.
It's very emotional.
Okay.
Go, Hailey, bring it up. Why don't you?
Okay. Here's my POV.
Okay.
Random tings with Hailey.
Random things.
I think Disneyland churros are probably the best churros I've had in my life.
I disagree, but tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me
What?
more.
How do you disagree? What other churro have you had that's better?
Maybe. Okay. Do you mean Disneyland? Because I think the last 3 churros I've had when I went to Disney were at the California Adventures Cozy Cones churros, and they have been hard.
That's weird.
Where
I only
do you
get
get
my
your
churros
churros?
in Disneyland.
Okay, so maybe that's
a different. Maybe Cars doesn't know how to make.
maybe because
Yeah.
I will say the downtown Disney churros, impeccable. So that's probably
Maybe
around
the
same.
parks. It's just different.
Yeah, maybe it's the parks.
hard.
Do you get a dipping sauce with the churro?
No, just a churro.
Just a normal churro.
Just a normal churro.
Interesting.
Although I will say, I will give props to Sam's Club because those ones that
Those-
Monica got,
Yeah.
those were good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I think those were
Those are
better.
a close second.
Okay. Those were better than the Cozy Cone California Adventure churros.
I think anything beats those. As if what you're telling me is true and they're disgusting.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing with me.
Anyway, I think Disneyland churros are bomb. I think they're good. I
love
think
that.
they're delicious.
They are
So,
good.
That's
They're
what I have
great.
to say.
They're great. Wow. That wraps up
Delicioso.
our Gen Z finance episode. Hailey, how many days till Christmas?
Oh,
13.
brother.
13 days till Christmas.
Is it?
Christmas is on a Monday, so it's just less than 2 weeks. So, guys, you got 2 more episodes until our Christmas episode. And it's going to be
Merry Christmas.
a bomb time. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you next week. Bye, away with Hailey and Brie.
You'll be with Hailey.